I really enjoyed my research on how different titles of films and books are translated into different languages and what is actually put emphasis on, because it's not only the words and their meanings but also the contents and the plot which is taken into consideration by the translators while translating these titles into different languages. Let's start with my favorite cartoon, like Inside Out. You remember Riley and her emotions and things going on in her head. Well, Inside Out in Russian is Головоломка, which means brain teaser. Alles steht Kopf in German, which means everything on its head. Vice versa in French, which is Inside Out. There's use in Turkish, which is Inside Out. Dele revés, the same in Spanish. Tamyala pukovalas in Greek, which means the brain you're carrying with you. And in Chinese, it's again brain teaser. Now Jinji Joan Van. Die Hard, the film with Bruce Willis. You know, the Die Hard in English actually means stubborn, difficult to deal with. Well, in Russian, it's крепкий орешек. And it's idiomatic, and it does mean a person difficult to deal with. Zor ölüm, difficult death in Turkish. Polyskleros yanapethani in Greek. Stirb langsam, die slowly in German. But in French, Italian, and Spanish, we have a different association, and it is piège de cristal, which is a trap, crystal trap or glass trap. Trappola di cristallo e la jungla de cristal in Spanish, because they refer to the skyscraper. Yes, a famous book by Salinger, The Catcher in the Rye. The phrase itself, even in English, sounds probably unclear if you haven't read the book. Well, how is it translated into other languages? L'attrape-cœur in French, the catcher of the hearts. Il giovane Holden, we have the name of the main character in Italian. Chavdartar la senda chojuklar, the kids of the rye field. El guardián entre el centeno in Spanish, which is a guardian of the rye field. Ophilakas tissikali in Greek. The same, the guardian in the rye. Und der Fänger im Roggen, again in German, the catcher in the rye. In Russian, it is над пропастью воржи, which is probably more illustrative and more creative. It is translated as above the abyss in the field of rye. Well, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, especially teenagers know well this book. Actually, the phrase "The Fault in Our Stars" is taken from the Cassius, from Julius Caesar. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Well, how is it translated? Виноваты звезды in Russian, the stars are to blame. To lathos asteri, a wrong star in Greek. Nos étoiles contraires, our adverse stars in French. Bajo la misma estrella, under the same star. Colpa delle stelle, the fault of the stars in Italian. Aynı yıldızın altında, which means under the same star in Turkish. I love the translation in Chinese, which is very, very poetic. Wu di mei miao de ton ku, which means incomparably wonderful pain. In German, das Schicksal ist ein mieser Verräter. The destiny is a mean betrayer. To Kill the Mockingbird by Harper Lee, a famous book as well. Убить пересмешника in Russian. It's a I don't even know in Russian what it means, to be honest. and my Russian is my native language, пересмешник, what kind of bird it is. But it's interesting that in other languages we have other birds, nightingale. For example, in German translation it is wer die Nachtigall stört, the one who bothers the nightingale. The same in Turkish, bülbülü öldürmek, to kill a nightingale. Matar a un ruiseñor in Spanish again, to kill nightingale. In French we have ne tirez pas sur l'oiseau moqueur, don't, literally don't kill the mockingbird. And όταν σκοτώνουν τα κοτσίφια, in Greek we have kotsifi, we have a different bird. It is not a nightingale. And shasei ji gang niao in Chinese, again, to kill a bird. Home Alone. I'm sure you all enjoyed this film, this movie. Один дома in Russian. Mono sto spiti, again, alone at home. In Spanish, especially in Latin America Spanish, we have mi pobre angelito, which means my poor angel. In French, maman, j'ai raté l'avion. Mom, I missed my flight. Mamma, ho perso l'aereo in Italiano. Allein zu Haus, Home Alone in German. Evdettek bashina in Turkish, again, Home Alone. And Xiao Guei Dang Jia in Chinese, which means a little demon stays home. Well, one of my favorite movies is also The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And this phrase is taken from a famous poem by Alexander Pope, by the way. So, what do we have here? Вечное сияние чистого разума in Russian. Η αληθινή λιακάδα ενός καθαρού μυαλού. Silbastan in Turkish means a different thing, means to start from zero. In Italian, a still more interesting version, se mi lasci ti cancello. If you leave me, I'll delete you. Vergiss mich nicht in German, which means don't forget me, but in Spanish, olvídate de mí, which means forget about me. Very interesting. So I think it's about everything. Well, yes, and the last thing to mention is The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. L'insostenibile leggerezza dell'essere in Italian. Die unerträgliche Leichtigkeit des Seins in German. La insoportabile levedad del ser in Spanish. Невыносимая легкость бытия, русский. Η αβάσταχτη ελαφρότητα του είναι, ελληνικά. Sheng Ming Zhong Buneng Chang Shou Ji Qing. In Chinese, it actually means life cannot tolerate such lightness. Well, that's about all for today. Hope you enjoyed my story, and please subscribe to my channel. Stay with me for more interesting topics to discuss, things to discover about different languages. I'm here for you, Yulia's Language Lab. Please join my multilingual community.